today's video, I'm going to be showing you all of my Cabbage Patch dolls and their clothes. I have pictures and detailed information about everything seen in this video on my Flickr. I have a Cabbage Patch album. It's on the second page of albums if you want to check it out. You do not need a Flickr to view it. The reason I'm stressing this right away is because Cabbage Patch dolls are a very random doll type. They aren't marketed typically with special names. A lot of the dolls in my collection specifically were released over the span of many years, and their outfits were too, so it can be really confusing, as well as factoring in the variety of different manufacturers that produce these dolls. I got into them officially in 2021, but I did have a few Cabbage Patch dolls growing up. They were all made by Coleco, the original mass manufacturer of Cabbage Patch dolls, and they were hand-me-downs from my sister, who also got them secondhand, and they really spoke to me. She wasn't really into them, and after she was kind of bored of her Cabbage Patch dolls, I asked if I could have them, and I had a very strong connection with them. I honestly don't know what happened to my childhood dolls. I could only guess that my mom donated them or threw them away or something. Once I got into American Girl, that was something my sister and I both really loved, and I think that's probably why I lost track of my Cabbage Patch collection at some point. I always had this urge and desire to, I guess, sort of collect them and look at them, and that interest never faded. It just wasn't something that I allowed myself to explore until this year, and it turns out my sister is just as crazy about them now that we're all grown up. So I hope you enjoy meeting all of these dolls. I do want to say that they are arranged in the order I got them in, like I would with an American Girl collection video, and I tried to dress them in period accurate clothes, because not all of my dolls were wearing things when I got them, or they were wearing things that clearly weren't their originals. So without further ado, let's get to it. So my very first Cabbage Patch doll was Baby Martin over here. I originally wasn't planning on buying any Cabbage Patch dolls, but when I was researching this Cradle I had from my childhood, I was starting to reminisce about it. I was writing about my childhood dolls on Flickr to add to this Cradle's fun fact, and then I found myself online looking at collector books on Cabbage Patch dolls. And then Colleen said to me, I think they have Cabbage Patch dolls at this antique store we used to go to with Dad. It was really slow this part of flea market season in 2021. So we figured we wouldn't go to the flea market the next day. Drove out to this antique store, and sure enough, there were several Cabbage Patch dolls, but Baby Martin was the first one I saw. He was in this booth with a bunch of Barbies, and clearly the booth was there for a while and the things were neglected because there were cobwebs, there were dead flies everywhere, there was lots of dust. He was stuck back inside his box, but you could tell he had been removed and displayed because his papers were missing, so his name, it wasn't technically Baby Martin. He was sort of like my dream Cabbage Patch doll. For some reason I really wanted a bald one, I really wanted a boy Cabbage Patch, and I really wanted one that came in like cute, realistic clothes. So he ticked off all of the boxes. I fell in love with him right away, but he was kind of expensive. He was $35, and since I didn't have any Cabbage Patch dolls and I wasn't sure how much I would still connect with them as an adult collector versus a kid, I decided to like walk around and think about it. But we went back for him and we pulled him out in the car, and it was like magical the moment we met.
That's when I knew we were in trouble. Like, because Shelly been saying, oh, we'll get maybe a doll, maybe two, and some clothes, small collection, and the minute I met Baby Martin, I went from being like, this is like more her thing than mine, and I'm not like too invested, to, she is so lying. We're both gonna go totally crazy over this, and we're gonna have a ton of these before the summer's over.
He was actually starting to decay in the box. His shirt had like a ring of yellow, his shoes were sticky, his head was starting to get sticky, he had like some yellowing starting to, like a film starting to build up on his face. I have a transformation video on him which will be up probably after this video, and he's from 1985. And then we have Baby Ralphie, who is also from 1985, so he is my only authentic Cabbage Patch soft sculpture doll, which if you're new to collecting Cabbage Patch dolls or you don't collect them, they basically are completely fabric instead of having the plastic heads. These are handmade. I I don't remember how I even found out about soft sculpture dolls because it wasn't something I knew about as a kid. But for some reason, through my travels of stalking dolls like Baby Martin, I found out about them. And I, again, had it set in my head. I wanted a boy. I wanted him bald. And I preferably wanted one from the 80s. There was this one particular doll that's actually one of the characters that they produced multiples of. Sometimes they do for special editions. It was Baby Otis, the 1987 Collectors Club exclusive. I really wanted him, and I had seen him on a Mercari, but like as a sold listing, and I was like, that's my baby! So it was close to my birthday, and another one popped up on eBay, and it was like a really affordable buy it now. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect time. So we bought him, but then an hour later, the seller messaged me and said, oh, actually, I messed up the price. I'm going to cancel your order. It's $185, which was way, like, more than double what I was originally gonna pay. And they were like, I'll knock off $5 for you. And I'm like, no way, I don't want to pay like $200 for this thing. So I was really devastated, and Colleen ended up finding me Ralphie on Mercari, and he was wearing real baby clothes, which is why he's wearing this outfit. It's not what we got him in. I bought this special for him. It's a Mickey Mouse one. I sort of settled because I really wanted a soft sculpture, and I did not want to pay like that kind of money for one, and he was very reasonably priced, and he was really charming. And the day he came in the mail, I was about to eat lunch when he got dropped off. I pulled him out of the bag, and it was magic. I remember specifically saying something along the lines of, you're the cutest thing ever, I love you so much, like the moment we met. And he is like my cuddliest. I love how plushy he is. He's so well made. He's gorgeous. And again, he didn't have a name. The seller got him with a lot of other Cabbage Patch dolls, so they didn't know anything about him. He could be a girl. And I named him after the boy from the movie A Christmas Story. And then we have Murphy Alastair and Francisca Theresa. They were actually came with those names, and they were in a lot together on eBay. Colleen and I were actually looking up Cabbage Patch food accessories. Not to buy, I just wanted to show her what kinds of cute things they made. And this lot turned up with a picture of an old Cabbage Patch case, and Colleen said, oh, what's that? And it said something about a lot with 2 dolls and clothes. I clicked on it, and it was Murphy and Francisca, and they came with like a bunch of spare outfits. They were in terrible condition. They were super stained. Again, I have a transformation video on these two because they were gnarly. It was a really reasonable price for everything, and we really wanted to know what the adoption papers were like, because previously these two didn't have any of that paperwork. So after some prodding, Colleen convinced me to get them the next day.
It was like 3 days of constant nagging. I just was in love with these.
So my theory is that the seller picked these dolls up either out for free at a yard sale, at the Salvation Army, somewhere. And they were in the case that the kid who owned them left them in with all their stuff. It reminded me a lot of how I used to play with my Bitty Baby doll growing up, which made me really fond of them. And honestly, there was no way to know who was Murphy and who was Francisca, because the adoption certificates aren't dated, but they were dressed. She was the girl, he was the boy. He's from 85 and she's from 84. And she has the same head mold as Baby Martin, interestingly enough, but she has like the scaled down version. You can see it's like really petite. I have my 2 sets of twins. Again, these dolls all came with their paperwork, but we don't know who was who. So we decided that he would be Derek Laurie,
Mark Allen, Jenny Megan, Eveline Rosalie.
And Eveline Rosalie. They were all from the same lot on Mercari. Now, the reason that we got this lot is because growing up, we had a set of twins like this, we think.
We're almost sure.
I know we had a doll with tan loops, and this was definitely the outfit. We were obviously too young to have been alive when the twins like this were originally produced, but we had grandparents that worked at the Salvation Army, and we think that that's where they came from. And I vividly remember having like the shirt, the bonnet, which I'm missing now, and the overalls, and then having like just a pair of overalls. And I remember as a kid we had this talking doll that we think Meme got Colleen brand new from 1987. And I remember when she was bored of her Cabbage Patch doll and gave it to me, I was like, okay, that's it, I'm gonna collect Cabbage Patch dolls, because I did that as a kid, and I was probably like 4, I was like in preschool at the time. And I remember hunting through my toy chest where I kept all my stuffed animals, and I remember pulling together all the Cabbage Patch stuff I had, and I remember vividly cramming his bum into these overalls. And I just have this like really vivid recollection, so I wanted to have that again in my life. And Colleen found me this lot, and they were a great deal. Like,
I was up late, I was on Mercari, and I knew she wanted one of these boys with tan loops. And at the time, I didn't even know ours were twins. Like, I had to dig deeper into my memory after we got these, and I'm like, no, we definitely had a set of twins like this. I was like, well, I know Shelly really wants one of these guys with the tan loops, but this is a good deal for the whole lot, and I think it's cool that they're twins. So we adopted all 4, and we're very happy.
I was a little hesitant because I'm like, I don't really need 2 of the same. But what sold me is that, first of all, some twins do come, like, and they're fully identical. These would be considered fraternal twins because their head molds are different. So this is my favorite head mold of Cabbage Patch dolls ever. It's the tooth mold, the number
5.
Number 5. And Jenny also...
That's not Eveline.
No, that's Renata.
Oh my god.
You just Renata! Jenny's over there! Colleen!
Oh my god.
Is that a swap?
We gotta fix this.
Alright, we're back. That's been fixed. I'm gonna blame it on Colleen. She was in charge of wardrobe, and I told her we didn't need Renata.
And the irony is, yeah, well, first of all, she said Renata looked a lot like twins, so we shouldn't have bought Renata. And second of all, Renata has really, like, her skin color's really off, and Jenny looks a lot nicer, so I don't know how
Renata's
that
your
happened.
favorite. Shame
I
on you.
love Renata.
Anyways, this is the real Jenny Megan, spelled with a G. She has the tooth head mold, and when I saw this tooth head mold on her specifically, all I could think about was the Muppets Frog Prince movie, which we used to watch on VHS as kids, and there's this character, the old hag, named Aunt Tamanella.
Aunt Tamanella.
Who poses as, like, the king's sister. And she's really not Aunt Tamanella, but she's pretending to be. And she has this, like, snaggletooth and, like, scraggly hair. And that's who Jenny reminded me of. And I totally would have named her Tamanella had she not come with her birth certificates. So I absolutely love the tooth head mold. It is my favorite. I want a bald doll with a tooth one day. But I also love the Binky mold. And then Eveline was kind of, like, my least favorite of the group when they first arrived. I just think she looks so classic. Cabbage Patch. She reminds me of Colleen's piggy bank we had growing up.
I love her.
And she just looks so happy all the time. And I love their, like, Victorian style dresses. They even had their gloves and their tights. And then we have Dennis Paul. We got him at the local flea market. So he was our very first Cabbage Patch doll from the flea market. But everybody else you're going to see from here on out was from the wild. So this pattern of online shopping is not present here on after. Besides Beezus. So Dennis Paul there was this guy that had Cabbage Patch dolls for a while at the flea market, and I'm pretty sure this was the same seller. And I remember before I was even thinking about Cabbage Patch dolls, I made a mental note that, ooh, he has nice looking Cabbage Patches, and I kind of always wanted to go over there and look. So after we got into collecting them, I hoped he would return, and he did. We call him the Cabbage Patch guy. I saw him at the front, and I loved his outfit. He didn't have these shoes on. I just fell in love, and he was kind of expensive. He was $25, but I thought he was really nice, and I wanted another boy, and he has these really pretty, like, auburn loops. They're like this reddish brown. So he didn't have his paperwork or anything, but we named him Dennis Paul after my dad, because when my dad was a kid, he had, like, this reddish brown hair, and I remember him telling me this. And when he tried to dye his gray hair when I was like 12, it came out bright red and everybody made fun of him. Picasso, he is my Jesmar. He's featured in one of my Dolly transformation videos as well, which probably isn't up yet, but I got him at the flea market not long after Dennis Paul. So there's always these people, like different sellers, that will basically just take boxes of stuff, like crap, like random stuff, and containers, like they just went into someone's basement and pulled it out, and they'll like open the lids and then you just dig through the boxes. Now usually it's boring household stuff, so I just do a quick skimming of the boxes, but I have great doll spidey senses. I can sense when there's something good. So we were walking by this booth of these people who set up like all the time, and I'm like, I sense something good. I look over and I see what looks like tan loops from a distance through a clear container. Immediately I book it. Now I just assumed he was another doll like the twins, but as I approached, I noticed his legs were kind of longer, and I was very curious. As soon as I picked him up, I saw the freckles, and this is a very distinctive feature on Jesmar dolls, which if you don't know what Jesmar is, it's the Cabbage Patch factory from Spain. These dolls were sold internationally in places like Canada, Spain, Italy, and they borrowed the Coleco molds. See, these are all made by Coleco. but they are slightly different in the way they're put together. So they're taller, they have things like freckles. You can tell his eyes are way fainter. They're only shiny because I added sealer, and that's because the factory sealer is really bad. So I thought, ooh, maybe he's Jesmar. I checked, sure enough, he had the Jesmar tags. His clothes, this is his original outfit. It's all tagged to Jesmar, and I thought it was just really cool, and he was in really terrible condition. He smelled the worst of all my Cabbage Patch dolls. And bear in mind, Murphy and Francisca, the day they came, we had a Disney Plus date with our friend Lisa scheduled, and they smelled foul, like moldy basement. They had like all kinds of stains. He smelled worse than them. He also looked worse than them. He was only $6, so I was like, okay, I have to adopt this cutie. And it's nice because he's so much taller. He can fit the Babyland exclusive clothes that are made for the taller dolls really well. And I named him Picasso after this dog that I dog sit every summer. And Picasso the dog is really quirky looking. He has like a messed up jaw that doesn't close all the way, so his teeth stick out, and he's got one shorter ear than the other because he was rescued from a shelter. And I think Picasso the doll is just as quirky looking. And he also is from Spain, and Picasso the artist is from Spain, so I just thought it was really fitting.
So I did a lot of research on the Jesmar dolls after we got him, and it sounds to me like even though Jesmar was only licensed by Original Appalachian Artworks to sell to the foreign countries, they did at some point sneak past that licensure and send some out to the States, somewhat illegally.
He's an illegal immigrant, we think.
So I believe that is how Picasso got here, because I think if someone bought him special, like, you know,
from Italy or
Spain, that he would not have been discarded so callously. I mean, he could have crossed the border from Canada, but my bet is he was just illegally sold here in the States.
Yeah, they were in New York. They got distributed out of a shipping place in New York.
Yeah.
And then they got caught.
So they had to stop.
And that was bad.
So I'm guessing that's how Picasso came to
He's
get
seeking
you.
refuge here. Don't tell anyone. Don't call immigration. So then we have baby Beezus. She is not actually a Cabbage Patch doll. This was Colling's doing.
I was up late on Macari again one night. So they listed her as Cabbage Patch, and she was wearing one of the real Cabbage Patch diapers from the 80s, and I thought, she's only $30, maybe she's real. And her, like, if you look at like her little feet, like the sewing is a lot like Ralphie's, like the blushing.
She's one of the best handmade replicas I've seen.
When in person you can totally tell that she's not a real Cabbage Patch, but on camera she looked really convincing, and there weren't a lot of pictures. There was no picture of her butt, so I couldn't prove or disprove a stamp. She's signed by someone else. I bought a fake baby.
She woke me up when I was sleeping to tell me about this, and you don't want to wake me up. I'm very, like, grumpy. When I'm sleeping, I'm like, I don't care, you make the decision. But when I saw the picture the next day, I'm like, that's not real. She bought a fake. But that's okay. So we named her baby Beezus. These three dolls, these next one, we have Anna Theresa, Wendy, and Daniel Joseph. They did not come with these names, but we got them all together. So they're actually the other Coleco Cabbage Patch dolls that the cabbie guy we got Dennis from was selling. It was a few weeks later, and every week he would come back and he would have his Cabbage Patch dolls. He also had some like little people made by other manufacturers besides Coleco, so like Mattel and Hasbro ones. And we kind of planned that on a slower day we might pick off another Cabbage Patch doll. Now, I remembered seeing Anna Theresa because she has this really cool head mold with, like, the lower teeth.
It's a number 10.
I thought, well, maybe next time I'll buy her. So it was supposed to be a decent day. I checked the weather, and on the way there to the flea market, it started to rain. And I was really pissed off because we were, like, 10 minutes from the flea market, and it's not a close drive for us. And I'm like, well, what do we do? So we ended up going, and all the sellers were covering their booths because they weren't expecting it to rain. They had like all these plastic tarps and stuff. I noticed as we walked by Cabbie Guy's booth that he had these three underneath the table. They were all kind of clustered together out of the rain. And he said, oh, I'll give you guys a rainy day discount, because he remembered us from buying Dennis. He's like, I know you, I have them today. And so we bought Anna Theresa. And we were walking around and we're like, well, rainy day discount of $15. That kind of changes things. So we kind of were wanting to buy Wendy, who was not in Cabbage Patch clothes, but she's got these really cute green eyes.
And Daniel Joseph was wearing this mouse sleeper.
And I wanted the mouse sleeper, but I thought he looked just like Mark and Derek because I hadn't gotten a close enough look at him. But I'm like, we can't buy all the Coleco Cabbies and leave this boy alone in the mouse sleeper I want.
It would be so cool.
So we went back and we bought Wendy and Daniel. The seller was really funny. He said it was their first time in the rain and they were having fun, and it was a perfect happy ending for them all to stay together. It was really funny. We named her Anna Theresa after our Meme, our grandmother, because when Meme was pretending to be sick, she used to do this thing. She would lie about being sick all the time. She would like lower her lower jaw and like gasp and make noise, and you'd see her lower teeth. And so she reminds me of our Meme, and her name was Anna Theresa. And her nose was not like this when we got her. Some of them sit on the couch in the living room, on the back of the couch. My chinchilla Napoleon got a hold of her one day. He was out for playtime, and he is usually not bitey with things. He usually is very cute. I forgot to take the Cabbage Patch dolls off. And the time before I had forgotten to do that, he just wanted to climb on them and like snuggle. It was very cute. But Clyde went and bit Monty's button. He was wearing overalls, and all of a sudden Popo is like, that's a great idea, and I see him take a chunk out of Wendy's nose, and I was very mad. Playtime was canceled. That was my fault. I feel bad. That's from a chinchilla. And that was like one bite. Like, I didn't let him sit and gnaw. It was like gone.
He's a naughty boy.
And so Daniel Joseph, he is everything a Cabbage Patch doll wants to be. He is the most fantastical creature ever. That mouse sleeper preserved his loops. They're in perfect condition. He has beautiful face paint, beautiful coloring. He is just gorgeous. I could not gush more about this fellow.
He is so nice.
And I just bought him because he was cheap and he was wearing an outfit I wanted, and I felt guilty leaving him behind. But he's magical, and I think he looks like, if you've ever seen the animated Hobbit movie from way back in the day, I used to be obsessed with like Lord of the Rings animated films as a kid. I think he looks like Frodo from that movie. So then we have my very first Kusa. So Kusas are the like pets of the Cabbage Patch dolls. I found Tucker at the local flea market. When we walked in at the entrance, you kind of have to like loop around in a circle and come back around to the exit. And I saw this table that we would normally pass on our way out, and I saw Cabbage Patch feet, and I knew, oh, that's a Cabbage Patch doll. But I figured, you know, we've bought a lot of them lately, so on the way out, I'll check it out. I'll investigate. So as we were leaving, I come over, and immediately I'm like, oh, that's a Kusa. I had wanted one of these since I learned of their existence. I had been like, oh, I want a Kusa. Colleen did not understand. But when she saw Tucker in person, she suddenly got it. Now
I was like more taken than her.
The filthiest stuffed plush thing
His
I've ever
paws
seen.
were filthy.
They were
all
brown.
the way down here. They were like a brownish orange color. Like he'd been eating Cheetos with his bare paws.
He rubbed himself in barbecue sauce and Cheeto puffs, and I had to soak him twice in boiling water and OxyClean to get rid of the stains, and then I had to go back and bleach out a few spots that were still gross. I have pictures of him on Flickr. I'll stick them in here.
He was wearing this Mommy's Little Man shirt when we got him, and I put him back in it for the video. And it made me so sad. Like, part of why I didn't want to leave him behind, even though he was filthy, was because his shirt said Mommy's Little Man, and I thought, he needs a mommy. Like, we can't just leave him here.
He was only $5, so, I mean, you know, $5 of filth, but still. $5 of love. So then the weekend after, funnily enough, we found Monty, my other Kusa. Again, none of them had paperwork, so. He was at a booth. I spotted these stripes from a distance laying on top of a container, and I'm like, Kusa! I ran over. It was another cat Kusa. I think he looks kind of like my cat Oliver in real life. I was very excited. He was only $3.
And he was naked.
And he was butt naked. And we, of course, had to adopt him, and he was in much nicer condition than Tucker. He just needed a little bit of work, not much. I mean, obviously I've washed them all. It's disgusting. They're stuffed. You don't want to have like 40-year-old dolls that haven't been washed, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I'm not okay with that. But he's cute. So then we got Joy Irene. She's named after my mom. So after we got Dennis Paul, I said to Colleen that day, I want a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Cabbage Patch doll to name after Mom, so we can have a girlfriend/wife for our Dennis Paul Cabbage Patch. When we were at the flea market, it was a really, really slow day, and when we passed by, I saw a Cabbage Patch doll sitting in this bin, but the guy's booth, he was kind of expensive from what I could tell, so I just kept walking by. I didn't tell Colleen because I knew she'd be like, we have to save it. But on the way out, we went inside the building at the flea market that day, so we ended up passing by this booth again, which normally we wouldn't, because of like the route we take. Well, we came out, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see who this is. And I saw the blonde hair. I picked her up. She had the tooth, and I was like, blue eyes, tooth. This is Joy Irene. And she was wearing this like disgusting human baby sleeper thing that I threw out because it was that disgusting, and it didn't.
This is from one of our Cabbage Patch clothing eBay lots.
She's kind of beat up. She is from 85. Yeah. She's just the cutest thing ever. I love her. I love the tooths. She's gorgeous. Our first non-Coleco Cabbies. So we have Sue Young.
Corinne Shelby. She actually had her tag on still. And then we have Daisy. Sue Young and Daisy we named. So they are from Cabby Guy. Now, I remember I mentioned earlier, I said he had some little like people that were non-Coleco, and we're most into Coleco. I don't know, they just speak to me the most. But he said, I have something for you one day. And he said, and I know you're going to really like it. And he had brought these guys back. We thought they had sold, but they must have just been like misplaced or something. Because I remember they were little and in holiday attire, and one had like really weird teeth.
Yes.
I was like, these have to be the same dolls.
And he said, I think we could have all three for $10. I don't remember. It was like either $10 or $15 for all three. I liked the Mattel ones that have like the black hair. I don't know if she's like technically Asian, but she looks that way to me. She doesn't have a special head mold or anything. They do have certain special Asian head molds. So we bought them. And I named her Sue Young after the character from Rush Hour because we used to watch that movie with Dad all the time. And I actually have a little Honey Hill Bunch doll with the same name for that same reason. And Corinne Shelby, that's her name she came with. And there's Daisy. Colleen really likes Daisy because she reminds her of American Girl Courtney.
I love the hair.
And then that same day, from a different seller, I think it was the seller we got my American Girl Lindsay from many, many years ago. She had this bigger Cabbage Patch doll with tan loops, looked a lot like the twins, for several weeks, but we weren't sure how expensive they were, so we figured we'd ask, and she wanted like $25 for him, which we didn't want to pay. And then she said the little one is $15, and I hadn't seen this guy there before. He was wearing real baby clothes and some tights that you'll see later. I was like, oh, he's really cute and he's interesting. He's bald and he's got green eyes. It turns out he's a preemie. He's like shorter. And I was like, I kind of want him. So
he was dressed in so many layers, it was hard to tell.
After we walked around, I went back and I bought him because he's very unique looking, and his name is Sheldon. Now, the next group of dolls, so we have Tamanella, Renata, Landon, Muffy, and Nala. We got all of them together at Savers on the same night. Every year when we go to our eye doctor appointments, there's a Savers location in the city we have our eye appointments at. We live in a rural area. We don't live near any Savers or Goodwills. The Salvation Army closed, so it's a treat to get to go to Savers once a year. But that day there was a problem with my Jeep. Uncle was nice enough to be able to fix it that day, so we couldn't stop at Savers after Colleen got out of her appointment.
I was crushed.
She was very crushed, and so I said, okay, after we get this fixed and after I get my oil changed next weekend, we'll go sometime to Savers. We'll make a special trip.
I interpreted this meaning the minute the oil was changed, we were off to Savers. So the following weekend, it was the day before Halloween, I nagged her and I nagged her. I dragged her out in the rain.
It was pouring. We had to go on the highway.
And my shoes were, by the time we go home, my shoes were soaked. But it was so worth it because look at all these adorable new friends.
And I saw Nala hanging off the shelf like this. And I just saw the tail and the two legs, and immediately I'm like, Kusa, and I booked it over. And I had wanted a lion Kusa. This is my favorite style Kusa. I was so excited. I didn't even notice she was wearing her original outfit. I was like, I have to have this. I wanted this Kusa. I was so excited. And then, before I could even process my luck, I look over and I see more Cabbies. I see Tamanella. I see Renata. I see Landon. I see Muffy. And there was also a Mattel one that looked just like Corinne that we did not buy. So I was just so overloaded and overstimulated. I wasn't planning on buying them all. I definitely wanted Landon because he has the tuft, and they were all wearing like random scraps of clothes. They weren't wearing complete outfits, so I knew I wanted him. And then I also, upon closer inspection, I saw Tamanella here. She had the tooth. I love this mold. And I noticed she wasn't the same doll as Joy Irene. She
Originally,
has lemon
she was
hair.
just going to leave her. I made you take a second look. I pointed out the lemon hair.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a second. I'll buy her. And she's actually in beautiful condition. I have a transformation video on these guys, too. So I decided to get her. But then Renata was next to her on the shelf, and I'm like, no, she looks just like Eveline and Jenny. We don't need her. Colleen was mad at me. She's like, what? What's wrong with this one?
Because I saw Renata was like,
she was in these overalls.
She was in the overalls. This shirt is actually the Holland shirt. We got an eBay lot. She was at this angle, and I saw that face, and I'm like, oh, Shelly, it's another one. Well, she went, oh, it's another one. And I'm like, and then she walks by, and I'm like, Why are you walking by? Like, how could you just leave her? Like, look at that face. Shelly said she looks just like twins, and apparently, I guess, since I dressed her in one of the twin outfits earlier, she does look
The
a lot like
discussion
twins,
was over. I didn't even get a say. She's like, we're taking this one.
I was like, no, I love
I mean, the biggies were $4 each, and these guys were $3 each. So I mean, it wasn't like breaking the bank, but I mean, you can't save them all.
And then, but I think I have this residual guilt because when we were cleaning our basement many, many years ago, around 2011, Shelly was in favor of keeping Meme's talking cabbage. And
I've had a long love for these dolls. It's just like because Colleen wasn't into it.
I talked her out of keeping Meme's Cabbage Patch, and I think that there's a part of me that knows Meme's Cabbage Patch is out there somewhere, and I'm hoping she's like not naked and she's being cared for. And these poor things were like either naked or half naked.
They were really bad. Like you'll see them in the video.
Muffy
eventually.
over here was actually wearing that yellow shirt dress that we figured must have gone to Tamanella instead, and like I just felt so sorry for them, like. You know, because I feel this guilt about Meme's cabbage. So I just felt so guilty and sad. And Shelly said, oh, that's the same doll as Sheldon. I'm like, no, Sheldon has green eyes. But Shelly had probably meant to say Murphy because Muffy is essentially the same as Murphy.
That's why she's a girl. We decided to make her a girl.
Well, she was wearing that heart shirt dress, so that makes sense.
But she's a preemie, so that couldn't have been her. So we think because she was wearing these bows that this might have gone on Tamanella. Another one of Colleen's I need to buy items. This is Patrick Murphy. We were leaving the flea market one of the last weeks we went in 2021, and I saw this Cabbage Patch doll on a blanket with some other random crap, and I kind of looked. I didn't get too close. I saw the overalls, I saw the tan loops, I saw the blue eyes. I'm like, we don't need it.
I saw the overalls and I'm like,
combination.
I feel like these overalls mean he's newer.
I was like, Colleen, come on, let's go. And she's like, no, I need to see. So she's like stripping him, trying to figure out what date he is. And the guy's like, oh, he's $1. And Colleen's like, Shelly, we have to. He's only $1. And then the guy says, I had a bunch of them last week at a different flea market when I was set up. And this other lady, she bought them all. But I guess I forgot this boy. And that's why he's all by himself. Colleen was like,
that just made me so sad.
Family got bought. He's all alone. He's only $1. And I was like, fine. So we bought him. And
something interesting about Patrick. So from a distance, he looks like the same head mold as Picasso and Daniel Joseph, but this is actually number 12. The difference is like really, really subtle. The difference between the 2 and the 12. I'm not honestly sure what the difference really is.
But
he's so cute.
His construction is kind of noticeably different. Densely stuffed.
Yeah.
And his cloth, the way I would describe like the feeling if you rub his cloth body is if you've ever had those like pool toys, those balls that like you squish and you throw at each other. That's exactly how it feels. I have a surprise doll that wasn't supposed to be part of this video. It's baby Otis! I saw him on Mercari, and I was like, that's my baby, before I knew anything about this doll, and after a failed attempt to buy him before, as I mentioned, that the seller was like, actually, I listed the wrong price, and after bidding on one and missing out, I finally got this guy over Thanksgiving weekend, and I think I got lucky. It's obviously the weekend of Black Friday and Cyber Monday here in the United States, so I think that people who normally would have wanted him had money tied up elsewhere, but I was able to buy him. I'm really excited to have him. He's even cuter in person. Oh, he was absolutely foul when he arrived, which was not captured in the eBay photos. Ungodly dusty, and it's very apparent he changed many hands over the years. Not only was I surprised by his level of filth, but I was also surprised by his size because my only other softie was Ralphie, and you can see Ralphie's very tiny. Baby Otis was made to be a little shorter than a normal softie, but very stumpy. And can you see the head difference? I'm so excited that I have him. He's everything I thought he'd be and more. I have a video of how I cleaned him up, which will be like up on my channel sometime in the future. And this is his Ducky Rattle. So part of the appeal of this guy is he had everything except his baby blanket. So he had his socks, he has his special Collectors Club diaper, he has his shirt, his bonnet, and the rattle's actually something I haven't seen as much of. It was really tarnished when I got it. He also had all of his paperwork and this additional book. Must have been the pamphlet that they got in the mail from their collectors club membership that they saved and kept with all of his paperwork. This is really cool. So this isn't like something that came with Otis, because this is like telling you how to order him.
It still looks like new. Even
I
though the doll
know.
was still...
And then this is his birth certificate here. And then this is like the adoption papers you can mail in. You can see the person never filled them out because there was only 1,275 of them made, and he was number 13, which is so cool, which means he was ordered pretty early and arrived pretty early for that person. On November 11th, 1987 was when they mailed him out. And he even comes with this really cool little pamphlet here that advertises the other dolls in the nursery edition, which is really awesome. I don't really know a lot about Cabbage Patch lore, but basically from what I gather, Otis Lee is a doll that Xavier Roberts, the creator of Cabbage Patch, he like adopted himself, and they made for the nursery edition. They're all characters that Xavier Roberts has in his own collection, but like the baby versions, which is very cute.
So cute.
And I like that he's actually a character, because most Cabbage Patch dolls are like Ralphie. They're just kind of like whoever, whatever. So he is magnificent, definitely even more amazing than I thought he was going to be. And I can tell he probably was bought mostly just to be resold, because you can see here, somebody must have sold him at like an antique store or something, because you can see that they have like on this outside of this envelope like, oh, $500 firm, which I did not pay that. I got him for $107, including tax and shipping. So yeah, clearly he was bought and traded around, and I'm wondering if the person I got him on eBay from maybe got him at an estate sale. Cuddly. Oh, and now the family feels complete. So I don't have that many accessories to show you, because the only ones I've gotten came with Murphy and Francisca in this case. So this is a really common case from 83. It was probably sold for several years. It's really big and roomy, and this is where I keep all of my shoes when they're not wearing them, and these accessories, I just keep them in bags. So I have two different feeding sets, I believe the 83 and the 84 versions. One is more complete than the other. I have pictures of them on my Flickr. This is my favorite piece. It's like a little lunch tray that has this really adorable Cabbage Patch leaf design. And then there's these two cardboard cereal boxes, which one of them's in really bad condition. The funny thing and kind of gross thing about these food tins and the boxes is that the kid who once played with these put corn kernels in them, and they were probably there since the 80s, and when I got the group of stuff, I heard rattling, opened it up, and found ancient corn kernels. It was disgusting. And these are the utensils. There is a bottle. I have two different kinds of sippy cups, and they all have the like classic logo on them. And then this is a bottle warmer, but I don't actually have the bottle that goes in it. And this is a Cabbage Patch Kids watch. This is the doll version. It was sold in a set with a kids watch, so you can learn to tell time. It's not like a real watch, it's like a play watch for kids.
And that we didn't get with our preemies. That we got with the like toy chest lot on eBay.
It's pretty big for dolls. Like I can fit this on my wrist, so it looks really big, but it is for dolls. And then these are just some of the cool shoes we have. These came with the Scotland World Traveler doll. I don't have her, but I have pieces of her outfit that Renata's wearing. And then these are shoes that were sold with the Corn Silk dolls. They're flats. And then these are the birth certificates that I have, the adoption papers. You can see there's my twins. There's Eveline, Jenny, Mark, Derek, Francisca, and Murphy. And then I have some of the tags. And this is Corinne's tag. And these are all like computer generated. The names are very randomized, and they're not dated because they're pre-printed and just kind of lumped in with the dolls. So if you got an actual Babyland adoption certificate from like Babyland in person, it would be dated the actual day you got the doll. So these are all of my clothes. They're kind of grouped around the room. Most of my clothes that are manufactured from a big company are Coleco. I do have a few small items from other manufacturers. There's pictures and detailed info about variations and like what they were sold with, if they were sold as a fashion pack, the year range, and all of that. If you want to know, check out my Flickr. You don't need one to view it. They don't have a lot of official names or anything for these, so I'm just showing you so you can kind of get an idea of the sorts of things they made. And most of my things either came with my 2 preemies or in a lot with a bunny sleeper that we wanted that was really cheap. It was $12. All said and done on eBay, but it came with quite a few things. And then we got a big lot of clothes eBay. They were the seller's daughter's doll stuff from her childhood that they pulled out of the toy chest and sold online, and we call it the toy chest lot. Both by Jack Pacific. And this one is the Glow Party. Came with a Glow Party doll. And then these are like from the late 2000s, early 2010s. And then this one here came with like a gender reveal doll. And it was really hard for Colleen to identify.
The reason it was so hard to identify that is because what it was is the doll was sold wearing these cabbage leaves with a diaper underneath, and the diaper was a gender reveal. But these outfits were, quote, the surprise, and they were gift wrapped within the box.
So we got this one at a local thrift store for 27 cents. It was just floating around loosely in their toy section. It's really beautiful quality. I love the colors, the details, and it has this adorable owl embellishment, and this looks great on Corinne. These 2 outfits are really tiny because obviously depending on the manufacturer the size changed, and so these really only fit our like Mattel and Hasbro people and some of our Coleco preemies if they're not stuffed as much. And this is a toddler kids outfit.
They sold a lot of smaller dolls toward the end of the 80s and beyond because they felt like they were more appropriately sized for kids' hands. So this was like started the trend towards smaller kids.
Yes, and this is one of those outfits. It was available in a lot of different prints. And then this is one of the ones that came out with corn silk Cabbage Patch dolls. So that was a new feature. So most of them have like yarn hair before then, but when they added rooted hair, like what you would traditionally see on a Barbie doll, for instance, that's what corn silk is. And this is a very traditional outfit for Coleco Cabbies. You can get this jacket in a lot of colors, and these Levi's, quote unquote, are really beautiful quality, and you can see that they have like this really adorable Cabbage Patch logo. Usually Cabbage Patch items will either have a tag in it that says Coleco or Mattel Cabbage Patch Kids, or it'll have like the actual like branding, like a patch or something. And this is one of the diapers that I saved. I have 2 of these. They have really cool Cabbage Patch print, which I got one of these on Beezus. Normally I don't save these because it's gross, you can't clean them, and they're just disposable diapers, but I really like the print of these. These came with the Bean Butt Babies from '87. That's really tiny dolls that had bean filling in their bums. And I got one of these, the blue one, with my preemies, and then the other one I got in the toy chest lot. And they're beautiful quality. They're knit. They have the Cabbage Patch embroidery. They have these stunning little flower embellishments, matching bonnets. I wish these fit more of my dolls, but I can just barely cram these on my Coleco preemies. And this is like a striped outfit from the 80s that's very stretched out from age. A lot of the elastics kind of dry rot. And this is a shirt that's like a color variation, so you can see how many different like ways you could get them. So this dress is special to Colleen. We got this with the bunny sleeper.
I actually had the exact same dress when I was a little kid, and I'd forgotten it, and I knew that I'd had something that had this on the sleeve, and I'd mixed it up with, I had a blue gingham dress that I don't think was Cabbage Patch that looked similar to what Joy Irene has on, but like different. It had like a lacy thing that I haven't seen on any real Cabbage Patch clothes, and the quality was different. But I was confused. I was like, is that what had that patch? Well, when I opened that from our eBay package, it suddenly made sense. I was like, this is exactly what I had. A lot of different variations of this fabric under the Peter Pan collar, but mine was exactly like this. It was the same blue. The lace is just beautiful on this, and I actually did put my American Girl dolls in this because, you know, I didn't have a lot of American Girl clothes when I first started out. So I had a lot of memories of having this as a kid, so I was like so excited that I took Francisca out of the Babyland outfit she was wearing to put her in that at the time.
This is sized for preemies, and these sorts of like long nighties were sold with knit booties instead of plastic shoes.
And the reason, even though it looks so long, the reason it doesn't fit on a full-size cabbie is you can see how small it is back here in the neck area. It's really hard to get it on a full-size cabbie. You usually can't.
And then we have some like different little dresses. I'm missing the bloomers to these two. This is for preemie. And I got this one with Francisca, but she was actually wearing this kid's outfit when we saw her on the eBay listing. This is really pretty. I love all the ruffling and the little, I'm a sucker for these like fabric flowers, which is why I use them all the time on headbands. And I'm also just want to say that I have like some duplicated pieces of things my dolls are already wearing. Like I have another set of these overalls, another one of these heart shirts, but just for the sake of like the length of the video, I didn't bother to include them. Now we have my costume sleepers. These are made by Coleco. They were sold as fashion packs originally, but later on when they were kind of just slapping everything together, you could get twins sold in these, but they're, I guess, harder to find supposedly. Now my first one was this lion sleeper. I saw this on eBay listed by itself, and I think I got it for like $15, but I had to have it, and it was cheap. It was a cheaper buy it now option because this fur was all pilled up. And it's not perfect, but I was able to fix it. I just kind of put some conditioner in there after I washed this and combed it out with a cat brush, and it worked out quite well. So it has beautiful embroidered patches. All of the feet have these beautiful details. They're so cuddly and soft. It has a tail. I used to wear things like this as a kid. My mom would buy me Halloween costumes that were basically like sleepers. I had a Felix the Cat one. I had a Batman pajama set, and I would wear them to bed all year round. So it reminds me a lot of my childhood. And plus, one of my favorite Kelly dolls was Lion Desiree, who was sold in like a lion outfit. And then we have this lamb one.
This one we got in the toy chest lot.
Yes, and this one is one of my favorites because I work on a farm and I specifically work with sheep. And the way this feels reminds me of Nami-san, who I bottle fed when he was a baby back in 2009. And he's still alive as I'm filming this video. He's an old man. And we have the bunny sleeper, which is probably the least nice quality sleeper of the bunch, but I love it because it reminds me of Ralphie's from A Christmas Story, when he's forced to wear the ugly pink bunny sleeper his aunt made him. And then I have two mouse sleepers, which one was on Daniel Joseph and the other one was in one of the lots we got on eBay.
Bunny sleeper lot.
Which I had the one on Daniel Joseph first. It's actually, I don't think it is quite nice condition.
Yeah, and they're both actually wicked nice, but the slightly nicer ones from the bunny sleeper lot.
So not all of them have like the animal patch. There are variations that have it and variations that don't. These are, they're called Piece Rompers. So these were only sold as fashion packs in the 80s. These three were my first clothes I ever bought for Baby Martin.
Except maybe that one
Besides, I think I got this around the same time what he's wearing. I bought that separate on eBay, and I also bought some clothes from Babyland. But in terms of Coleco, like old clothes, these were some of the first things I bought. Colleen was on Mercari one night, and she saw a seller had Goody Gardener, Handy Carpenter, and Splashy Painter sold separately, and they were in really like gross shape. They were stained and gnarly looking, but they were really inexpensive. Pet Vet, Dr. Pet Vet.
That we bought separately, I think.
Yeah, we bought this one separately on Mercari. This is Firefighter and Sassy Sheriff. Sassy Sheriff and the Firefighter, and then my other Goody Gardener here were in another lot on eBay, and it was like really cheap to get all three, so I was just like, screw it, I'll get the duplicated one because these look so great and they fit a wide range of them, and they're adorable. Like, they're printed on the back too. Like, a lot of times I don't like clothes that have like screen printing detail instead of like sewn stitched detail, but that's like the style of these, which I really like. And then I have this sleeping bag from the 80s, which I got in one of the lots, which it would be great in my Cradle, but I already have bedding I made for it. And then these are the carriers. I have two of them. They were obviously really common. My favorite clothes of all time are the ones made by Babyland. So Babyland is this glorious store that's like the American Girl store, but it's all about Cabbage Patch dolls. And I actually heard about Babyland several years before I started collecting Cabbage Patch dolls. I was just watching a random non-doll related vlog, and they stopped in at Babyland as like a touristy thing, and I was like, I need to collect Cabbage Patch dolls. And then the first thing I did when I got Baby Martin that afternoon is I went online and I went on Babyland, but I didn't know what would fit him, so I only got like 3 things in that order. Which brings me to this This is the first thing that I bought. I fell in love with it, and it was out for a long time from what I was able to research. It's like a newborn swaddling outfit, so this is like a swaddle thing, and then this is the nightie. Baby Martin's kind of short. He's got like shorter legs than some of my other dolls, so he doesn't fit this too well. He swims in it, but it's beautiful. This is all like embroidered, and it sold out not long after I bought mine, so I'm really glad I got it. It's just adorable. I love the style. It's so well made. It feels like real baby clothes. All of these things are. And then in that same order, I got these bunny bee pants because I thought they'd be great to pair with like random shirts I might find in the future. And I got this...
it's called a screen printed lap shirt.
Yes, and this is actually real baby clothes that they just screen printed something on. So this is my least favorite Babyland thing, but I love it anyways. Everything else I got either for my birthday or I got for Christmas, like as a Christmas gift to myself, because I'm obsessed with these clothes. So these two things are not actually Babyland brand. Sometimes they sell other doll clothes on their website, so you have to be careful if you want real Babyland stuff. These are by the brand Little Adventures, who have their own website, and they're not like the best quality, but they're not the worst quality. They came with bows. I didn't put them out. But this is Dorothy. They call it like Kansas Girl, and Wendy, Irene, and Jenny, and they look really sweet in these, and they fit really well. And they are nice quality, but they're nothing on this. I mean,
and
look.
I think the main hang-up is actually the Velcro, because like the printing is so cute and the velvet's so soft, but because it has the Velcro, it gets caught in the yarn hair.
Yeah, and Coleco Velcro's like small squares, so it's not as much of an issue. So this is one of my favorites. This is like one of these long onesie things, and it has this beautiful print, and it has this beautiful embroidery. I got this for my birthday. This is one of the things I got for Christmas. It is Babyland brand.
I want to point out that as we're filming, it's before Thanksgiving, so we did Christmas shopping early.
It is from Babyland. It's Babyland brand, but it just doesn't have the logo anywhere on it.
It has the Babyland collection tag inside. It's beautiful.
Colleen wanted this from Renata specifically. It looks really good. And then this is a really big outfit. This camouflage army style one. They have sort of names on the website, but they're really long and weird, so if you want to know what they're called, you can look them up on my Flickr. This one is really large. You can see how like big the hat is, because these soft sculptured dolls, who these are made for, can go up to like I think 24 inches.
Yeah, they're big.
So this is made to fit I think like a 17 or 20 inch doll. So Picasso's the only one who fits it really well because he's Jesmar and longer. This is a beautiful Cabbage Patch leaf embroidered patch, and it's just got these cute little like all-American CPK, and it's so well made. It's like, I wish you could feel this. This is one of my favorites. Baby Martin wears this one the best. This is like a little fishing outfit. It says Cabbage Patch Kids, and it has like a little Cabbage Patch Kid fishing.
And the real Babyland stuff has these snaps just like real baby clothes, and they're so beautiful.
I know, it's so luxurious. It's like, and they're really not that expensive if you compare them to American Girl. They're cheaper, but they also don't come with, like, say, shoes and socks. But the outfits themselves, I would say,
the quality is amazing.
And then I have this hat, which I bought for Christmas photos. It's really big because, again, it's made for the Biggie Softies. And there's actually Santa and Mrs. Claus outfits that are sold separately that you can buy to pair with this, but those are way too big for my dolls. And I got this for, like, Christmas. And this is one of these really cute sleepers they have. They have different styles of these with like either ruffles or polka dots, and you can get them in pink or blue. I love anything that says Babyland. It just makes it feel really posh. And this is one of the ones I got for my birthday. This is made for 14-inch dolls, but this fits the preemies really well. And my Mattel dolls, it looks so cute. It has this beautiful embroidered detail and these little like metallic hearts on the tulle. And I also got this bib for my birthday. I don't really need it, but it was really inexpensive, and I thought it would be cute for photos because it's just like a screen printed bib, and it's just really adorable. And there was a bunch of different color variations, and like you can get different style kids printed on it. We have the best things in the whole world.
You saved it for last.
The Minky Sleepers. I have every color that they've put out so far. This was the first one I got. It's the pink Minky. Pinky Minky. I got this for my birthday, and I was really interested in like what this fabric would feel like. It's amazing. It's like so plush and soft, and they look so cute in it. So I ended up getting the red one and the purple one for Christmas because I liked them, and they look great on like boy and girl cabbies. Like, I mean, those are a little like feminine if you want to give them more traditional gender roles.
I thought Theresa with her purple eyes would look stunning in this, and she does.
My 2 Cabbage Patch books. Got them both off eBay.
I knew that was going to happen. I called it. I was like, she says she's going to get the books, no dolls.
I knew,
no dolls,
and I was lying to myself. But I'm glad I have them, but there's a lot of flaws with these books. There's a lot of nonsense and filler, and if you really want to know, like, what I think the drawbacks are, I mean, you can read my long-winded spiels and see pictures.
But it has been a big help with, like, a few things.
You can always buy real baby clothes. Now, depending on the size of the Cabbage Patch doll, some fit baby clothes better than others. So typically the preemie clothes fit them the best. You can see I have a wide array. I bought most of mine at Walmart, and we bought them special, and they're really inexpensive. Like, you can usually get like a pack of them for like $6.
Those are both 3-packs. This is this we actually got on Sheldon.
Yep.
And it's actually preemie. It's the size of the others. This is a newborn one, but it's close in size. I got it for $1 at a thrift store.
On Sheldon, I think. Yeah, they were on somebody. This I bought special for Ralphie for Christmas. This one I got for $3 in Walmart's clearance section.
And this one I got for $4 in Walmart's clearance section.
And then these are like little outfit sets you can get. These look great on the girls. These look like very legit.
I bought this one just for Tamanella because I thought with her lemon loops it would be amazing.
These ones don't fit the preemie girls as well, but they fit like your standard kid very well. And this was what Ralphie was wearing when I got him. This is what he was dressed in.
And I mean, it's beautiful.
They're really nice quality. Socks that I bought at Walmart or the dollar store. And then these are really old. I did research on these. I think these are from the 50s or 60s. They're called TV booties or something like that. And they were with Francisca and Murphy. And that's the kind of thing I did with my bitty baby. I had like my my own baby silverware that I would use and baby books my mom read to me. So in the process of editing this video, Colleen found a really inexpensive lot of clothes on eBay that I thought I would just include mainly because we got an outfit, a real Kusta outfit for Tucker. So this is most likely one that would have been sold on Tucker. We don't really know for sure if Tucker and...
Kusta's themselves weren't dated, it's their clothes.
Yes.
These black ones without dates are from '84, which we think Tucker probably is.
So yes, we got him this outfit with the elephant, and I was just photographing him in it for Flickr. So he has...
I'm going to put it on Monty.
Yeah, Monty's nudies. And then there was a duplicated overall set in the lot. But these are the outfits that weren't. So this is another toddler kids outfit, which you can see it fits Corinne. And this is like one of those baby bows you can get in the baby section at Walmart, which matches. I think it looks so cute on her with her little ponytail tuft. And then this one on Wendy here is a Coleco outfit, and it's supposed to come with like a knit cardigan, and most came with booties, but there were versions that had sneakers. We're talking Cabbage Patch dolls. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, and we found out for sure the story of our childhood talking Cabbage Patch and my grandmother's talking Cabbage Patch doll. My aunt worked at the Salvation Army back then, and they got a bunch of those talking kids boxed, donated to the store. So it must have been sometime a few years after they came out, but before I was born, because they were so affordable, they were really cheap. My aunt bought one for every girl in the family. So my meme got one, she got one for herself, one of our cousins, and Colleen got one. I wasn't born yet. And so that's how my grandmother had a talking Cabbage Patch and Colleen. And so it's really cool to know the story behind that. So excuse the kind of dark lighting here. We're in my basement. This is my Cabbage Patch Kids rocking cradle. You can see the logo there. I don't have room for this in my upstairs doll display area. So this is just like in the like doll room storage place in the basement, one of them. Some random little people in here. Nora is in here for that because I have to clean where my big babies go. So she's just hanging out with the Disney princesses and stuff. But I made bedding. It's kind of all buried. I have a whole video on this cribs transformation. But I got this as a kid. I have no idea where it came from. It had to have been secondhand because it came out in '86 and I was born in '91. And I'm pretty sure Colleen had it before me. I had it for years and years and I never wanted to get rid of it because it was Cabbage Patch. I used it for Bitty Baby too. This used to sit by my bed when I was a kid. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see pictures of these dolls or read more information about them, feel free to check out my Cabbage Patch album on Flickr. Anybody can view it. Until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.